what do you think are like some like common misconceptions that people have about like cosplay? And
Everybody underestimates the time you spend on it. Like whenever you're selling something and somebody's like, "Oh, that's like $50." Like, no, man.
like it's always like a running joke about like how expensive it is to like build these suits. So how expensive is it actually to do it?
So if you go just material cost on Ultron alone, no machines, none of the stuff behind it, was about $1,300. I had a wait list of like 20, 30 people at the point in time. Work Center shared out a video of me, and it just went from like 30, 40 people to I shut it off at 500 people on that list.
What was like the craziest time that you really were down to the wire?
This is an easy one. 2 days away from the convention was the first time he came over for us to start strapping everything together. In the hotel room at Level Up, day one of the convention, my buddy Levi and his girlfriend still trying to figure out how to put certain pieces on in the order. She had never seen the suit complete. I'm fully dressed up in Ultron, trying to direct her on what needs to go on him in which order, watching the tension between that couple. Like, I felt bad. My name is Mike. Third Dimension Builds is what I'm known as on Instagram and everything else. I do 3D printed cosplay props. There's the wall of my personal collection back there.
How long have you been doing this for, first of all? Has it kind of been like a lifelong hobby?
Not really. So when it comes to the cosplay and like getting into this whole 3D printing, so I've been 3D printing for, oh God, I think coming on 10 years now. 9 or 10 years. I bought some cheap Chinese printer forever ago. Like, it's crazy. So it started as I was playing Destiny one day. There was a certain gun I wanted to get. So I started Googling, like, how do I get this gun in the game? And I stumbled on a 3D printable file and was like, holy crap, what is this? And that just started a spiral event, right? So for about 6 years, I just 3D printed junk, little knickknacks, dust stuff. Like, actually, I have a couple of them over there I can show, and then during COVID, I had a buddy of mine who was a nurse, so I was printing some of those face shields for him and his, the whole hospital, and my printer died. So I started researching like new printers and like, what can I do? And I stumbled on Frankly Built, who was then building his Mark 85. I don't know if you know who Frankly Built is.
I'm not familiar with him, no.
So he's kind of, I would say a lot of people that started around the same time I did were probably inspired by Frankly Built. So worth checking out. He was starting his Mark 85 and kind of vlogged, YouTubed, Instagram. He was like kind of put it all out there. And a lot of people discovered that whole hobby, and I was one of them. I was like, holy shit, I've been missing out on this aspect of printing for what did I say, 5-6 years at that point in time. So I bought my first printer, or first big scale printer. I can't remember if it was the end of 19 or the beginning of 2020, and started going just ham. So, in this space, like 5-6 years now.
So what kind of printer is that? What are you using now?
Now I have predominantly just bamboos.
Oh, nice.
I just moved across country, so I unloaded pretty much everything I had and only took 3 printers with me. So
yeah, and then you printed like multiple pieces, I guess. Like it's not big enough to print like in a single shot.
Yeah, correct. The biggest printer I ever had was the Creality CR10 Max, which, like, even Ultron's chest I had to split into 3 pieces to fit on that thing. That's what is it, 450 cubed essentially.
Yeah, wasn't there also Elegoo put out like a huge printer? Was like the Neptune Max or something like that.
Orange Giga.
So something like that, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it's like they're getting there. I spoke to this one guy. He was on here, and he has his company is like they do like art installations, like for lack of a better term, and so they have one of those like those like massive 3D printers that like the kind of like you could like walk inside of, and they like 3D printed like the grill of a truck, something crazy like that.
I follow a few people on like TikTok that do that stuff, guys that are printing entire bumpers of cars. I'm like, wow.
And there's a whole expo, I think in Germany, like the whole like they call it additive manufacturing, and it's like a whole 3D printer expo, and it's just like like every kind of printer you can imagine, and even ones you can't imagine are there. It's like I've seen like a few videos. It's crazy. It's really cool, like tech. Like I love 3D printing, so for me, like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. Like you said, I've been doing it for so long. So like you look at the technology. When I started printing, having a heated bed was like a huge deal.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
and
use
then,
the glue. Yeah, it's like the thing, like the
yeah,
glue sticks to.
painter's tape. That's what I had to use
Oh
because it
yeah,
was the only way I could get it to adhere. And my
wow.
bed was far from level, so I had huge issues on this thing. It was like yay big. That was the
Yeah,
print
yeah.
bed on it, and it was
So
so warped that stuff wouldn't stick to half of it. It was crazy.
yeah, yeah. So can you kind of walk me through like the process? Like how does it work? Like obviously, like I understand the 3D printing side of things, but like making these like props and these costumes, like what's kind of the process? So you were saying before we started recording, you don't really do the modeling so much. You find files online,
Hmm.
and then like so once you get then you start printing it. Like you just kind of take through the whole process. Like
Yeah,
I'm fascinated
absolutely.
by cosplay. So like I've always been like fascinated by it. I've always loved like costumes and like and that whole like world. So for me like
Hmm.
this is just fascinating. So I'm curious to hear like the whole process.
Yeah. Well, before you even get to printing, when it comes to cosplay, one of the bigger things is scaling. And I'll be the first to admit I suck at scaling. Like Ultron, there are several pieces that I reprinted three, four times before I got them right. A lot of people use softwares like ArmorSmith, and there's some people that have 3D scans of their body that they go and scale it with. Um, so before before you even get into any processing, you want to make sure your scaling's right, your fitment's right. And even then, like, there's stuff on Ultron I wish I could redo for sure. But um, printing, like you said, smaller printers, you're going to have sections, you're going to have all the welding, all the seam lines that you have to get together, glue. I'm a big proponent of plastic welding, where you literally take a soldering
Mm.
iron, melt it together, seal up the line. From there, once it's all together, usually your best time to do a test fit is right then and there. Try and start to figure out like how you're going to strap it, how you're going to mount it, buckles, Velcro, magnets, anything and everything you can possibly think of to try and get it on. Um, Better to do it then than to have a sanded or painted product and then be trying to figure it out and have to chop a big chunk out later on, or
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And then sanding. You
Hours of
gotta you
sanding.
gotta love sanding, or hate relationship. I despise it with every ounce of my soul. Um, but it's part of the process. You got to do it. Like, you're more of a sander than you are a prop maker. Like, just
Yeah.
just call it what it is. Everybody who says sanding is a piece of it, no, sanding is the majority of it,
Uh-huh.
and it shows. Like,
Yeah.
your work is going to be very dependent on that set. Um, well, like rough sanding it all the way through, then it's a high build primer that you're going to do, then you're going to sand your life away even more. In some cases, you might have Bondo or fillers and have to prime and sand again. And then the process of painting.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing on its own.
I'm really curious to ask you about like with the Ultron piece because that's like by far and away one of my favorite pieces of yours. Like the
Hmm.
Ultron and the Mandalorian Buzz Lightyear are like my two favorites that you
Buzzalorian.
put out. Yeah, those are both incredible. I'm really curious with the Ultron. Like, how'd you get that like super chrome sort of finish? Is that just paint or is there like more to it?
It's a paint, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a paint called Duralumin. It's actually this guy Daniel who runs the Digital Armory is the name of his business.
Uh-huh.
So it's made here in the U.S. I think he's based out of Kansas, if I remember correct, or that area. Phenomenal people. Like if you're in the market for chrome paint, like I will recommend them all day and all night. Phenomenal people, great products. But it's essentially just a chrome paint that goes over a 2K base. Well, for me, you can use it over other bases, but I use like a 2K high gloss black base, and then it's a chrome paint that gets painted over top, and then it's sealed down with a 2K clear coat.
Uh-huh. And is it gives that like, really nice kind of chrome finish.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
exactly.
wow.
And
Wow.
then he's got a new product out that's a ultra lumen. So this is Duralumin. He has Duralumin Tough, and then Ultra Lumen, which is now, if you go and follow his page, it's like the brightest chrome I've ever seen out of a spray bottle, single
Uh-huh.
stage. So I have some, and I'm making a couple of projects with it that I'm both scared and excited for, because it's a much more finicky paint to deal with. But like that's I don't
Yeah.
know. It might give me the itch to repaint Ultron by the time we're all said and done, depending on how it goes.
Yeah. And like do you also add like electronics to your cosplays? Like do do you have those components for like, let's say like the Iron Man helmets that open themselves and stuff of that sort? Do you do that stuff as well?
Yeah, Ultron's helmet opens up like that.
Oh, nice.
When it works.
So how do you do that? Like, did you just teach yourself kind of like the basics of like Arduino and those kind of servo motors and all that fun stuff?
A lot of the stuff is online already free out there, so it's not too hard. Like the software I used was from Crashworks, which is a free open source software. I don't know how much you know about Crashworks themselves, Crashworks Studios. They actually make their own Arduino boards that are suited for the idea of Iron Man cosplay and stuff.
Oh,
so you can buy these boards that they make that are literally plug and play. Like, they have all the slots for plugging in the motors, the LEDs, so you don't really have to think about it. The flip side of that is like Ultron has an Arduino Nano inside of it. So all I did was download the free software that they had, or not the software, the code. So, load it on there and then played with it from there.
So then what, it's like button activated, or how do you like get it to...
Yeah. There's a switch in the chin on Ultron specifically. Emily, the engineer, kind of invented that one. So, if you see the videos of me opening it, you'll see this awkward chin motion. But it's much cleaner. Like, so I made Starboost was my first cosplay, the Starboost Iron Man. And I had reed switches in the fingers. But running and keeping that cord all the way down to your finger when you're trying to wear it it was a nightmare. Cords popping out, snagging, and getting pulled out as you're trying to put it on. So Emily, the engineer, started putting the switch in the chin, and it was like, okay, you look a little weird when you engage it, but
people are too busy watching it like in action. They don't even notice.
Exactly. Yeah. So Ultron's the design of Ultron, because it's such a huge thing. It doesn't open the cleanest. It's a little awkward. You'll see I have to throw my head to get it to go, because there's no room for support arms like some of the other Iron Man kits are. So
I see. And have you ever tried using other mediums besides for 3D printing? Like I know like a big thing in cosplay is is it EV foam? That's like a big cosplay kind of a staple.
Yeah. I started with EVA foam. So my journey with cosplay started years and years and years ago. A buddy of mine took me to the Phoenix Fan Fusion for the first time. This was probably 2017, 2018. And that was the first time I'd ever even seen cosplay. I'd ever been to any of these nerd conventions and was like, wow, beside myself. Instantly became obsessed with, I wanted to make myself a Spartan suit. But at that point in time, EVA foam was the big one. And so actually, if you look back far enough in my work, I built my two sons Iron Man suit, Spartan suits out of foam. It's rough. They're look at them now. They're so bad. But at that point in time, it was the huge introduction, the stepping stone, if you will. I was I'll test dummy it with them, and then eventually make my own, which you never really had. Well, I guess now it kind of did. I have June done, but EVA foam is an art, man. It's completely different.
Yeah.
It's not as simple. Well, I guess pros and cons, right? It's much more artwork because there's layering involved. There's understanding, the math of the folds and how it all comes together, the cleanup. It's not as much art as 3D printing. The art comes into play when you're finishing and sanding and,
the painting and even the modeling. You got that whole side of things depending.
I know. I'm desperately trying to get there. I want to be modeling my own stuff. But
what kind of software are you trying to learn? Blender? Or are you trying to do
Blender.
Yeah.
I've done some, generic stuff using 3D, 3D Builder from Microsoft. What's the other big one? I can't remember the name of it right now. I've used some of the other ones that are the more mathematical, the
CAD,
Blender's
CAD
more
software.
art. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, the Blender. I use ZBrush. Those kinds of softwares are definitely a lot more artistic and I don't know. I don't know how to say they're more intuitive, but they're more there's more freedom. There's more creative freedom. Whereas the CAD software is very, very technical, very I've tried I've played around with CAD software a bit, but it's not I much prefer the kind of the freedom you get with being able to just kind of do whatever you want, kind of
depends on what you're trying to do too,
yeah, for sure. And so I do a lot of 3D printing, and so I do, but I'm not doing 3D printing to wear. So I guess I also have to factor in the scale side of things,
Mm-hmm.
That kind of also adds a whole other component that And also,
Yeah.
like when you have like interlocking components, that also is a like
Yeah.
you're gonna be much better off with a CAD software than you will with like a creative suite, like a like a Blender or a ZBrush. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Blender's got a lot of plug and play stuff that'll get you down to that
yeah.
mechanics of the fine stuff. But
No, for sure,
like you
it's
got to
definitely
know it.
doable, but it's not like built for that in the same way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
it's not optimized for that. Yeah, I'm curious. Like, if you don't mind me asking, like, how much does it like cost to build like a full body suit? Like, cause like I always see people talking on like on Instagram, like cosplayers. They always like it's always like a running joke about like how expensive it is to like build these suits, and like it's like kind of the running joke. Like, so how expensive is it actually to do it?
So Ultron, so you got to figure there's two prices associated with all this stuff, right? There's the actual cost of the suit, and then there's the actual cost behind everything that got you to even get to that point to spend the money on the suit. So if you go just material cost on Ultron alone, which is just your filament, no machines, none of the stuff behind it, was about $1,300.
Wow,
So
just the
that's going to
filament,
be,
like just
yeah,
in
it's
the
filament, all the
wow,
strapping, the lighting, um, got the cloth for the cape, my undersuit, like everything. I want to say it was like 1287 or something like that. I had it
wow,
written down a couple years ago, but that's long gone.
yeah,
But that doesn't include, all the machines I use for
right,
painting, compressors, spray guns, the printers themselves, like
right.
that's a whole other ball game on its own.
Yeah, but those kind of like carry over the expense, like carries over
Yeah,
to
yeah,
multiple
naturally. That's
projects.
why
It's
most
not
people
a
don't think to
yeah,
include it, but it's like you hear these people that are like, "Oh, I spent $800. It's not a big deal." No, you didn't. You
right,
spent another 1,200 to even get to the point where you could start to spend the 800 to get there.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Are most people doing the modeling as well, or are most people kind of pulling models offline, like purchasing models offline and then like printing it and doing it that way?
I would say, from my own personal experience, more people buy. You have essentially two groups of people. Like you have the people that make the models, and you have the people that actually finish the models, right? There are people that do both. I think it's pretty rare.
Uh huh.
Like most of the cosplayers, especially the ones that I interact with on a regular basis, like none of them model, or if they do, it's very minimal.
Uh
Or
huh.
it's a weird space because it's like to do all aspects of everything, especially if you're trying to do it from a financial standpoint, like you're never going to be able to make the money you want to do
Yeah.
unless you're part of a team that's doing everything together, right?
Uh huh.
I think that's kind of the touchy spot.
Uh
It's
huh.
a it's a
Interesting.
labor of love. Like Rosin 3D is a guy that I talked to. He's based out of Atlanta. He's been dipping a lot more into the modeling aspect of it
Uh huh.
himself and like kind of learning, but he does it purely for hobby.
So he,
So
he doesn't like he doesn't wear them and like to go out to conventions or anything. He's just doing
he
the
does. He's been gone for a while now, just finally getting back into it. But he does it for his own sake. He's not selling anything. Is
oh, I
I'm
see.
trying to say. Like he makes his own. Like he has one of the cleanest Mark 85 Iron Man suits I've ever seen.
Uh huh.
Like all resin printed. Like the
Oh wow.
paints and everything he used were just phenomenal. I got to
Wow.
see it in person at Dragon Con like 3 years ago, I think. Beautiful,
But if you're doing it in
beautiful.
resin though, I imagine it's like resin's like very delicate. Like how does he
It can be.
wear that out of the wear it out of the
Yeah.
house?
Resin as a whole, like I'm not very big in resin in general because it's
Yeah.
expensive for one thing.
Yeah.
But you can mix resins together and get flexibles and like highly durable stuff.
Uh huh.
Like
Interesting.
it's completely possible. It's going to cost you a lot more.
Yeah.
And the machines are, 3, 4, 5 times the cost of an FDM printer too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So how did you like get into this? Like you said, you've been in the cosplay for a long time. Like how did you initially find it and get into it and get interested in it? Like you talk more. You said you saw it at a convention, but
yeah.
like were you always? I imagine you're always into kind of these IPs. Marvel and Star Wars and these
hmm
kinds of things. So like it kind of just when you interact with it for the first time, it kind of was like love at first sight.
Pretty, I mean, more or less, yeah. It sparked the interest in it, right? Obviously. And that's where I started building my son's suits out of EVA foam, kind of exploring the hobby, the idea of it, all these crazy ideas that got squashed over the years because, if you have an idea and then you start getting into the reality of it, and you're like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like where the tipping point for me definitely was seeing Frankly Built making his Iron Man suit, and then that was the drive for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this Iron Man Star Boost because at that point in time, DO3D had the model for free, and I was like, I love this suit. It's all white and gray. It's not a
Yeah.
traditional Iron Man suit. It's beautiful. Let's do it. So full steam. Like just started buying filaments, started going into it. Like I actually sold that suit before I moved to a guy out here in Tennessee, but like and it was funny, like when I was getting ready for the move and trying to sell that suit, looking at the quality of that versus like Ultron over here, just night and day difference. But
Uh-huh.
I thought that thing was phenomenal at that point in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like always wanting to learn, always wanting to push further, get better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I years ago, at one point decided I was like I wanted to try and build something because I forgot the website. There was this website. I totally can't remember the name of it, but it was basically you could download um like templates for different like helmets, like Iron Man helmets, let's say, and
Mm-hmm.
it would be like the what's the word I'm looking for? Not templates, like the you cut out the pieces. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
the Pepakura, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And so like I was young. I was probably like 13, 14. And I was like I really wanted to build a War Machine suit. I was like I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do this. And I tried like I tried like first I did it like like I downloaded all the things and cut it out of paper. And I was like, okay, first of all the scale is like way off. Like this is way too small.
Yeah.
And then like I tried doing it with like foam and like I saw online like, oh yeah, you can buy like foam mats that, like like for like garages kind of thing that, like people like
Mm-hmm.
stand on, like you like build out of that. And I tried and like it totally didn't work. Like it went nowhere. So that was my one foray into trying to build anything in cosplay, and it did not end very well.
Pepakura is the most affordable option by a long shot, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Is it still
That's
around?
Yeah, oh yeah, people still use it all the time. I see it.
Yeah,
I'm in a couple of like Facebook forums. It's still big in the Halo community because everybody does the foam, so those templates they're gold. I actually
yeah.
started. I didn't even think about that until you said it too. The very first thing I ever made before I even got into the kids' Halo costumes was I made a Destiny Ghost
Uh
out of
huh.
the Pepakura, like the same thing, print, cut, glue all these things together, and it this cool little
Yeah.
ghost. And then I did the Warlock helmet, and then I fiberglass coated it.
Oh, cool.
And I never did anything beyond that. It just sat in my garage for like 3 years before I finally threw it away.
Uh huh.
Because it was the same thing. It was huge. Like you put it
Yeah.
on, it was bucket head.
Were you always like handy? Like, is it kind of like something that comes naturally to you, or this is something
Yeah.
that you kind of taught yourself?
It's funny, like growing up, in high school especially, my friends called me the collector of hobbies.
Uh huh.
Like I was that person that was always doing something. Like I'm just naturally me as a person in general. I'm not one to sit around. Like I have to be doing something all the
Yeah.
time. It's going away the older I get. But like I always did like plastic modeling. Like the old testers, model kits from cars. I was huge into Star Trek models when I was like an early teen. Like if you were to met me when I was like 13, 14 years old and walked into my bedroom, it was like the ceiling just had 15 starships hanging from the roof, and it was all the same.
Yeah.
Cut glue, paint. I had an airbrush back then. That's when I got into airbrushing. Like,
So you do this like your whole life. Like this is
yeah,
not new to you at all.
it's the way I look at it. It's like all these little hobbies that I did over the years kind of brought me to this point right here.
Yeah.
And like it's worked out. It's given me all these skills, at least the base skills, like airbrushing.
Yeah.
Airbrushing is therapeutic for me. It always has been. So like, if you give me a model, I think that's part of the reason I love all these the Venom ones. It's
Yeah.
kind of giving that realistic touch to everything. Like
Yeah.
airbrushing, I'll just sit down for hours and just paint away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super relaxing.
And I'm curious, like, if you don't mind me, like, if you don't mind, like, divulging the information, but, like, have you been able to like monetize this, or do you kind of keep it strictly like as a hobby that you do just for your own enjoyment?
So I monetized it for about 2 years.
Uh
Back
huh.
in, what was it, 2023 is when I shut down operations, probably around August. So for 22 and 23, I did make heavily, especially the sports stuff. Um, I'm sure you've seen the NFL mashups and all that stuff I did. They were
Yeah.
huge. Especially on TikTok, I actually had Fox News or
Oh,
Fox
really?
Sports shared out my work, and God, what was the other one?
They have that. They have that. Like the Fox Sports has that robot. Right? That was like kind of like
Yeah,
they had that
yeah.
mascot that
Fox
kind of.
Sports shared out like a college football version I had.
Oh, cool.
And then, God, what was the other? Or oh my God, why am I drawing a blank right now? Sports Center. Sports Center
Uh-huh.
shared one out. That's where I blew up.
Oh,
Like it
really?
went crazy. So I was making the helmets for a little while there, and I had a wait list of like 20, 30 people at the point in time. And I had like my website had an automated wait list. Like you go on, it's like, okay, here's my base rates. You agree to all this. Add me to the wait list. Um, so it was automated. Sports Center shared out a video of me, and it just went from like what did I say, 30, 40 people, whatever it was, to I shut it off at 500 people on that
Wow.
list. I was like, that's enough. I can't do
Yeah.
this anymore. Um, it's just wild, wild how quickly it went. So I burned myself out in the long run. So I kept that wait list. I was working through it. I had taken deposits on work that kept me busy for like 6, 7 months. But I still work a full time job and just did this on the side. So
Yeah.
working 8, 9 hours a day at my job, get off of work, work another 6, 7 hours in the garage. So yeah, I was working crazy hours. I got a family, I got a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Like it was just too much. Burned
Yeah.
myself out. Took like a year off, just worked on. That's when I finished Ultron. Like I got all my commissions knocked out. Then I did Ultron and I built Samus for a buddy of mine at the same time. And
Uh-huh.
then after that, I took probably 3, 4, 5 months off and just did nothing for a while.
Yeah.
So now that I moved across country, my plan initially was going to be to start commissions back up again. So I started to get back into it, and I was like, yeah, no, I just don't enjoy it.
Uh-huh. Like you enjoy
I
doing
miss
it
the
just for
money.
the yeah, yeah. But you enjoy doing it just for the sake of the hobby, like not, like
Yeah,
not feeling the pressure of, clients and all that.
yeah, exactly. Those deadlines, like, and then building all those NFL helmets, like for me, like Cowboys. I broke down a list at one point in time of how many of the same helmets I made, and
Uh-huh.
it was like the Cowboys was number one, and I'm so tired of making those Cowboys helmets. But it was like those were the people that were messaging constantly, like, "Hey, can I get one? Can I get one? Can I get one?" It's like
Yeah.
it's easy money, but at the same time, I don't want to make the same thing 15 different times, and
Right, right. You
like
like to keep it
that's
fresh
not
and
fun. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's why this stuff, like these things
Yeah.
pop up. Like this helmet was released by Johan Props,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh, I need it. I saw somebody finish it, and I was like, I need it. So I bought the model, and then within 3 days, I had it finished. Like that's what is
Yeah,
fun
that's
for
what gets
me.
you like really excited and
Yeah.
yeah. No, for sure. Like I think that's like a big like challenge in general with like doing anything creative is like kind of striking that balance between like
Hmm.
doing it because you love it and doing it because it makes money. And it's like if if you're if the making money part is like draining the fun out of it, like
Yeah.
it's gonna kind of end up hurting you and like causing major burnouts. As somebody in like the cosplay community, what do you think are like some like common misconceptions that people have about like cosplay and kind of what you do?
Well, for one, I think everybody thinks you're a professional at it. Um, Not so much the hobbyist. So like everybody, well, that and I guess everybody underestimates the time you spend on it. I think that's one of
uh,
the biggest ones. Like whenever you're selling something and somebody's like, "Oh, that's like $50." Like, no, no, man.
yeah.
Like it's crazy. I like when Ultron, excuse me, when Ultron was finished up, I had people messaging me regularly saying, "Hey, can I buy the suit?" I'm like, "Make me an offer."
Yeah.
Like more often than not, it was like $800. Like,
Yeah.
no, no, man.
Yeah.
I have like
Yeah.
180 hours of sanding involved in this thing. Like you just don't understand that aspect of
Yeah.
it. Um, I don't know. Like outside of that, I don't really know. Like the community behind cosplay is kind of what drives me into it more than
Oh yeah.
anything. So yeah, it's like the friends and the relationships and stuff you make along the way are more than anything with it. And then the sad part of it is it's like some of it ends up becoming kind of clicky, which is what it is with any kind of
Yeah.
big thing, especially nowadays. It's like cosplay went from being such a small thing to this huge deal with mass followings and everything. It's
Yeah.
like the people that took off early tend to have an ego behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You see on Instagram, there's like 101 cosplayers, and it's like, I don't know, like, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like they're kind of like, I feel like cosplay kind of breaks down into two major groups. You have the
mhm,
people who do it because like they enjoy the building of it, and like
yeah,
enjoy the making of it, And you have the people who do it for the aesthetics of it,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like
100%.
it's funny because it's like I don't know, it's like as an artist and like somebody who enjoys the making side of things, it's like you know like. I guess I'm like a Puritan of like, listen, like if you're gonna do it, like do it right, and like do it for the love of the craft, you know, not like just to like that. And that's just like that's like your thing that like you know makes you look good, you know, like it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know, like and whatever. I got no hate or anything, but it's just like for me, it's more intriguing and like how it's made than
Yeah.
how it looks.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Because like if you want cool looking things, you know, you can go watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's the actual craft that's so fascinating to me and like so you know just amazing to see it and like to and the people who like show their process, you know, I love that kind of I love watching those kind of like how it's made type of videos, you
Yep.
know, because it's just it's the amount of work that goes into it is just crazy, you know.
Another thing is like the people that show that, and then it's like the people that you're following for years that you see are still continuously pushing their craft. Like,
Yeah.
that to me is the night and day. Like that's how you can tell if someone's serious about it or not, right? Because
Yeah.
you see these people that have been doing it for years, and they kind of reach this tipping point where like, okay, I'm successful. I'm doing what I shot out to do. I'm just gonna stop beyond here. I'm like
Yeah.
just push out the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, but you kind of lost your light. Like,
Yeah.
isn't the
Yeah.
point of it that you're supposed to be always ongoing? Like the technology's crazy how fast it's changing, and like in everything in general, right? But 3D
Yeah.
printing especially. So like you pull up people that were huge a year ago that were pushing out this content and everything about like post processing or even the printers and settings. That stuff's completely useless nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like continuously sharing that same information, like reaching the new audiences, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's easy to see when that light still exists for the people and how serious they really are about the craft versus, like you said, just
Yeah. Yeah.
being in the spotlight for a while.
Right, for sure. No, there's some people out there like there's somebody who like hopefully is going to be coming on Kiara, Kiara's workshop. And like cuz she does
I love Kiara. She
her
is
stuff
phenomenal.
is incredible cuz like she does the costumes, but then also like it's not just costumes, it's also kind of the other I don't know, like we want to call it props, right? As in like it's not just about the costumes, it's about like making cool things,
Yeah.
Like for me like it's just that stuff is just that's the best.
See, that's what I'm talking
like,
about.
That kind of thing is yeah. And like and the work is it shows and it's phenomenal because these people are clearly doing it because they love to make things. You know what I'm saying? And like it's to me like that's the best. Like I love I've also like always been like kind of like a maker and tinkerer and loved all that goes into it. So again, like just to see it in action is really speaks to me in like like in a way that like nothing else does.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, my grandmother was very artistic and like very creative, and so like she used to take us to Joann's Fabrics and like we would like pick out like they had like what do you call them, like those they're not templates, there's a word for them, patterns. She like we'd pick out like a pattern of like a costume and like pick out the fabrics and stuff, and she would like make these costumes like totally from scratch.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, like I remember one time she made like a Ninja Turtle costume for me, and it was like, and she like it was all like she like sewed it and she like made like a whole shell and it was a whole like it was just like so for me like that was always like the highlight of of like the year it'd be like when she made these costumes because there's something about it. It's just it's like the crossover of like imagination with engineering, in a way that like few other things are. Like I love like behind the scenes, and for me, visual effects are cool, but they don't hold a candle to like practical effects because practical effects are so much are heads and shoulders above, and it's these things are I love miniatures, all these things like this is. Just a
lot of movies have been going back to that whole animatronics aspect of things too, pulling out CGI again, and like the quality of the movie is way different. Like
especially now, like with all the AI stuff coming out, I think you're gonna see even more of that. I think you're gonna see a lot more of that because you can't compare the two. You can't compare, and not even AI. Like, you can't compare like CG versus practical. It doesn't, and it's clearly different. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you could tell the difference every time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of IPs did you grow up on? Like, what were your go-to like movies and shows that you were into?
Star Trek, like I said, that one was huge for me. It doesn't really carry much into the cosplay world. Star Trek's still kind of the outlier. Love Star Wars too. Not obsessed like so many people are. Like I think
Yeah,
Star Wars is cool, but like I know nothing about the backstories or you know what I mean. I watch the
yeah,
movies. That's it.
yeah.
Like I think right now what's funny is what's really big with Star Wars is kind of that whole the Clone Wars era.
Mm-hmm.
So you see a lot more of those cosplays starting to pop up.
Oh,
And
interesting.
like I've had people ask me to join some of those groups. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah,
Like they're cool, but I don't know. I can't really get into it. Um,
yeah.
Comic books were huge. So for me, like Marvel, like I was a diehard X-Men fan when I was a teenager.
Uh huh.
Loved it. The X-Men cartoon series that came out. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that was middle school for me. I'm aging
Okay.
myself here probably a little bit. Um, so like that was huge. Like I still have a giant box of comic books that I have tucked away in a closet.
Yeah,
Spawn at that point in time, like there was that McFarlane toy series that came out with Spawn too.
yeah,
Got a whole
yeah,
crate full of those toys. Like that was kind of my era right there. And then Halo naturally, like as I got older, like that came out. I think I started playing Halo out of high school. Again,
uh huh,
aging myself here. Um, Halo was huge. Like that just became the first house I moved into was two of my high school buddies.
uh huh.
So three bachelors, like we were probably early 20s living in this house, and I like crawled up in the attic. We ran internal network in this house, and we would have LAN parties with Halo all day, every day.
Wow.
Like 4 in the morning, there was always that one buddy who had to work at 6 in the morning who was screaming from his room to tell us to shut up. Like
Yeah,
that was huge, huge, huge for us.
yeah.
Halo was definitely a massive tipping point for kind of my nerddom, if you will.
What would you say is like the what was like the biggest influence on you? Would you say?
We did Halo for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Halo
like
hands
that's like
down.
the one that like you point to your first like
Yeah,
uh
that's why
huh.
I made the boys' costumes in Halo because they kind of liked the game, and I was trying to make my way into it. Like Marvel was huge when like the cosplay scene and 3D printing scene for me kind of took off. So naturally, it's easy to fall into it. There's tons of
Yeah,
models available out there. It's huge. Like Halo is still kind of the cosplay community in general is still very much EVA foam driven. Like you're starting to see more and more 3D print stuff coming out. More people making the files that are printable, but
yeah.
like that community, the whole 405th forum, like I don't know if you've interacted with any of them. They're great. Like I love interacting with those people.
Uh huh.
So
Yeah. Oh, nice. No, it's like it seems like just cool, and like I find in general with creative types, people who are making things, like everyone has this like shared love and passion for this craft.
mhm.
That's like everyone just gets along because like that's like it's like, oh,
Yeah,
like you like
oh,
this
yeah,
stuff too, like of course, like
exactly.
it's just
Well,
it's
that's
so
great.
easy
It's
to
like you get those people, especially the people that are really passionate about it, who are open to sharing that information too.
yeah,
I mean, like
yeah,
that. That's what makes it different. Though. Like that's the difference between the community and just copying and pasting what somebody else is doing.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
I did because I did the Halo Reach builds with uh, Dat Boy builds. Like he was our leader technically for Reach, and who kind of helped push the project. Like that was a dream build of mine forever. Um, like getting all of Noble Team together was, and to be able to make that happen was phenomenal. And I
Yeah,
like 100% owe that to Dat Boy builds, Caleb, for kind of pushing the envelope. And he's the one who got us into new medians for it. Like I have a full rubber undersuit. It's
wow,
atrocious to wear because it's
it
hot
does not
and
sound
gross,
comfortable.
but yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
not, especially debuting it in Atlanta when it was like 90 degrees with 70% humidity,
Oh
like
man.
god awful.
Wow. I'm curious. Like, I know it's like a classic dilemma with like any kind of like any creative pursuit, and especially with like cosplay. I feel like the kind of dilemma of like crunch time when like some sort of convention something's coming up,
Mm.
and like you're like your project is like halfway done. You have like 2 days.
Yeah.
Can you share a story? Like what was like what was like the craziest time that you like really were down to the wire and
This is an easy one. So when, like I said, when I did Ultron and Samus at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So I did Ultron. I finished Ultron about, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks before the convention. We did Las Vegas Level Up convention. This is when I still lived in Arizona, so we were going to drive up. And I made Samus for my buddy, and we were behind on that one. He was sanding it, and then he would bring it over for me to paint. And we were down to, I want to say, the last week, and I'm starting to lay color. And it, like he's finishing parts, bringing them to work, and then I would take them home and then paint them. And it was like, I want to say we were 3 days away from the convention, 2 days away from the convention. It was the first time he came over for us to start strapping everything
Oh man.
together. So, we're panicking, trying to get everything done. Like, we didn't get anything finished. So, well, I mean, we got stuff finished, but it wasn't complete. So, in the hotel room at Level Up, day one of the convention, well, day two, when we were suiting up, like, it was my buddy Levi and his girlfriend still trying to figure out how to put certain pieces on in the order. She had never seen the suit complete or how it went on. So, I'm fully dressed up in Ultron, trying to direct her on what needs to go on him in which order. And there was a couple of things that we still had to finalize strapping and like watching the tension between that couple. Like, I felt bad. Like, he's uncomfortable and impatient, she's frustrated because she has no idea what's going on, like, trying to direct when I can't move or grasp anything because I've got a
Yeah.
giant suit of armor on. Like,
Yeah. How hard
painful.
is it to like get around to those things?
It's uncomfortable. It ain't easy.
Yeah. So what do? You just
Ultron's
like kind of park yourself in like a corner of the room. You're like, I'm just
yeah.
gonna stay here. People can come see me.
It's typically what we tend to do, especially when you got a big group. Like that year
Yeah.
at Level Up, we had 4 Iron Man suits with me. So like that's literally all we did. People were trying to stop us for pictures, and it was like, no, we're heading to this opening over there. Just meet us there. You want
Yeah.
pictures? That's where you're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Ultron's not too bad. Like that year, the hotel we stayed at was about a quarter mile away from the convention, so we suited up in the hotel rooms and walked all the way there.
Wow.
Not Yeah, like Ultron's relatively comfortable to wear. It's just all there's like 30 pounds of weight just chilling on your shoulders the whole time. So
Yeah.
shoulders are dead, but I can move
Yeah.
at a pretty reasonable pace in it.
Is there a way to do it like lighter, or it's not really so possible? Like obviously like
There's probably
3D
a way to do
printing
it
is
smarter, but not really lighter.
uh-huh. Yeah. Because like 3D printing like FDM in theory is not heavy, but then as you layer on more and more and
Yeah,
more, it gets heavy,
yeah.
fairly
Most full
quickly.
suits of armor are, like 10 to 12 rolls of filament. So it's,
Yeah.
what is that? A
And each roll's
kilo
like
each. So it's like 25,
2 pounds.
30 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
And then you add on your lights and your undersuits and any
right.
cloth fixtures you have on top of it, battery packs, like those can be a pound or two alone.
Yeah. What do you do like when things like malfunction, like when you're at a convention, let's say, and like things malfunction?
Mhm.
How do you fix things on the fly?
You do your best you can. We usually, all the conventions we go to, we almost always have one guy with a backpack who's just got repair kits on it. Most
Uh-huh.
conventions are really good about having repair crews
Oh,
around for
really?
you. But like I went to Level Up 2 years ago, and this lady just shoulder checked me in Ultron, and literally ripped the shoulder right off of him.
Oh my gosh.
Like luckily we caught it so it didn't hit the ground and shatter or anything, but like it tore the buckle right off. So, we ended up parking over where the food was, and the guy got out the battery powered hot gun and stripped me down enough to where we could start pulling the buckles and pieces out to reconnect everything. But that
Wow.
was probably the most frustrating one, other than the servo arm stripped in the helmet that same trip.
Uh-huh.
So, like I said, Ultron opens and closes. So
Yeah.
you're in Las Vegas. It's hot as shit.
Yeah.
And so we got dressed in the parking lot. We walk in, the helmet's up and down, no problem. The minute we walk into the convention floor, I go to open it, and all I hear is, "Whoop,"
Oh no.
done. Strip the gears. I was like, are you kidding me? So the
Oh
rest of the
man.
trip is just like me asking people to lift the face up. And then, I'm sweating, wearing red paint. I have the gem that's on the forehead. So, like, I sweated the gem right off. Like, it
Oh
was
man.
bad. You don't think about it, but just something as simple as having that open. Even though it's
Yeah.
not because Ultron only covers like that much of the head.
Right, but that's the airflow and
Yeah,
like
that's the
yeah.
difference. And I get
Yeah.
the scaling so perfect on that. There's no room for a fan in that thing. I
Yeah.
wish I would have scaled it a little bit bigger just for that purpose, but
How hard is it to see? Like when you're wearing these helmets, do they have like good visibility, or are they like is it almost like
It's
impossible
bad.
to like actually see where you're going?
Ultron's not that great because the eye holes are super small and they end
Yeah.
up kind of being here, and then I can kind of see down past the thing, but yeah, it's not great at all. And like the
Okay.
Iron Man suit that I did, that one was really, really bad. I did
Is that because
Starburst.
of
You
the
couldn't see.
scaling? Like why is that?
It's just like you have those tiny little holes, and then if you have the lights on, especially, it's hard. It's impossible to see unless you're in a really brightly lit room.
Yeah.
Like you have to have the lights off, or just limited visibility. Like
Yeah.
Buzz is great because he's got the big T visor on,
Right.
so you get you can't see here obviously, but
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
More
It's not a big
compared to the
deal.
other ones, it's
Yeah.
a lot of
Like June's
visibility.
helmet, the Spartan helmet, like that's perfectly fine. It
Yeah.
gets, it'll steam up in there. I have a couple of fans, but even then, it's not enough sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. With the Buzz Lightyear one, was that your design? Like, was that all original?
Yeah, yeah, that was
Oh, cool.
completely. So that one actually is an interesting story too. So the helmet was a failed Mandalorian helmet. I was making and selling Mando helmets at that point in time.
Uh huh.
This one, it was a horrible print failure, like clogged, layer shift, like all that stuff, right? So I ended up making it work, and it was heavily. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun. Make a heavily battle damaged one, like just make it into whatever. That's why he's got all the dents and the burn marks and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I went to town, like using the issues to create
Oh, nice.
the imperfections to create the battle damage. And then I took my son to Ace Hardware and was like, just pick out colors. This whatever you want. So we painted it the colors that it was, and then I was in this group chat with a few friends, and I sent pictures, and everybody was like, "Oh, it looks like Taco Bell. It looks like Buzz." And then everybody started making memes with, or yeah, it looks like Buzz. So everybody started making memes with Buzz, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like that looks cool as hell."
Yeah.
So I downloaded a full set of armor, and then I just started playing with the idea. And it was then to this day, that is still the most fun build I've ever done because
Really?
just full creative freedom. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You had all these crazy ideas, and it was like, well, that would be great. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, the mud form replace is Rex on the
Yeah.
shoulder. The buttons, I had plans to do electronics on the buttons. I had never did that. The wings, I planned on motorizing those too. I never got like,
Oh,
so
that's so
that one, I
cool.
took several models and kind of mashed it up together. And then the wings had tolerance to where it was going to motorize. I was going to do like a scissor jack motor housing in it so they could retract and whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I painted it, the tolerance was too gone. I didn't think about paint tolerance when I created it. So like now
uh
there's just no way they'd slide in and out without getting completely destroyed.
Right.
So
Right.
I've thought about reprinting them just slightly smaller to go back to the idea of motorizing it,
That'd
but
be so cool. It's
yeah,
already as it is. It's a really cool piece. Like it was. That was like probably one of my like the Ultron obviously is super cool because
yeah,
like it's just really well executed. But the Buzz Mandalorian that was so cool. Like when I
yeah.
saw that, I was like, oh yeah, like that's the stuff. Like it was just that was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was one of those things, like the entire time I'm making it, it was ever evolving, like constantly. Like even Grogu himself, like the alien. Originally, I was just going to get one of the Toy Story aliens and put it in a bag, but then I hired an artist to do. I don't know if you've seen the drawing of Buzzalorian.
No, I don't think
Um,
so.
so if we go back to the older post, I hired an artist to kind of make this concept art behind it,
Uh
like that,
huh.
and that's what I turned into stickers that I brought with me, all that stuff. But he was the one who did the three-eyed Grogu.
Uh
And I
huh.
was like, oh my God, I need to make that happen. So I had already ordered the alien. It was on the way. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to do this. So that's where, this guy came into play. Was his drawing was this. And I was like, I need to make it happen.
So
So I
it's a
ordered one of these.
Grogu. Is it a Grogu toy that you modified, or it's an
Yes.
alien? Yeah.
It's a Grogu toy that I cut the hole in the head and installed the eye in. I 3D printed the little antenna, and then I took all of his clothes off and dyed them all to be this way. But originally it was
Nice.
just going to be the little Toy Story alien sitting in the bag. And like
Yeah.
this idea is 100
It's so
times
much
better.
better. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much better. But like I say,
Yeah.
it was constant stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like during the entire process, it's like I'd make this piece and it'd be like, holy crap, what about like the spear having the big one as the
Yeah.
spear?
I
Like that
love
was a
that.
last minute change. And again, the artist, the way he drew the spear with the bigger points on it, I was like, oh my God, I need to make that happen now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Just like I said, it was fun. It was so much fun because there was no expectation and it was just complete creative chaos.
Yeah. And then didn't somebody make like a Funko Pop of it? I remember seeing
Mm-hmm.
that somewhere.
Yeah, these guys, Black Gorilla Armory.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he asked me for permission. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I do it?" I don't know. Oh, you know what? I have
You have
the
it?
little guy right here. So he made two model variants, and yeah. So this one is the
He
full
did a
one.
box and everything.
I did the box. I actually have that same artist that made the drawing of Buzz Lorian remade me another box that's even better. So I need to actually take that.
Wow.
But yeah, and this one the scaling is off. That's why it's actually in the sleeve
How'd
and
they
too
make
small.
that box? Is they just repurpose an existing Funko Pop box?
So well, I'm the one who did all this stuff.
Okay.
So the screen is from another box. The actual box itself is a template I bought off of Etsy.
Cool.
And then had it printed at like a Kinko's or whatever, and they shrunk it down to fit on it. And that's why it's actually too small. It was actually an issue when I transmitted it over to them. So I want to redo this, but he made two versions of the Funko Pop. Like it's phenomenal. Like, I love that thing. I resin printed it, hand painted it all. Like,
oh man,
it was the best idea ever.
Yeah, dude.
Because I have a Funko obsession, which
I got
if it is clear.
Behind my camera is like I have like a display case, and I have like my Funkos are like front and center.
Yeah.
Front and center of the Funkos is actually Infinity Ultron, so it's like
Me.
he's got it. He's right there.
I haven't unboxed all of our Funkos. They're just living in the closet here.
Yeah. The Funkos are great. I love Funkos. Like that's kind of like not my first collectible, but like definitely an early adoption. Like when I got into like collecting collectibles, I've always loved toys. But when I started like Funkos was like one of the first like collectibles I started like to collect. I don't have like
it's
a
a dangerous game.
Yeah, no joke.
Because they're affordable when you know
until you buy 1,500.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's like, oh, 10, 12 bucks, that's not a big deal. Yeah. And then you start tallying up what you spent. It's like, oh crap.
Yeah. No, like I've really like I've cut back my collection significantly. Like I have like here I have what 2, 3, is it 6? So that's 9, 10. I have 10 here. And like another one back there. So like I don't have that many here. I used to have a lot more, but I kind of downsized my collection because I was like, I'm not like I was never into like getting like the super valuable, like super collectible editions. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a few like the only ones that I have that are like more rare or whatever is like when they put out the 25th anniversary, they put like a Batman, like the first Funko Pop. They like did like a vault situation. So like I got that one, and then I have like one from Disney World that like it was like a Disney World exclusive. So like it's not like it's nothing like crazy. It's not like one of these like $10,000 Funko Pops that you hear about.
Yeah. The most expensive one I have is that Venomized Magneto.
Oh, nice.
That was a super rare one. I think I paid like $50 for that, but I had to have it to match the helmet. No, I ordered it online because I couldn't find it anywhere. It's impossible. But yeah, I became obsessed with obviously getting the matching Funko to the helmets that I had hanging on the wall. So
that's so cool. That's awesome. Yeah, like, and then they're all wearable. All those helmets are like
every single one of them.
That's so cool. How many of them
some of the
like,
scaling's off. Like this one I made too small because I just I was too excited about it.
Yeah, how many of them are like motorized or have like electronic components?
Pretty much all of them have some sort of electronics in them.
Oh yeah,
like his eyes light up. The swimming eyes and the lights light up, or the eyes in the mouth light up.
Oh cool.
I think this guy's Venomized Magneto, same thing, eyes and mouth.
That's really cool.
And then I do all the glow in the dark with most of the Venom ones. I tend to do that. So like you walk in this room at nighttime, if it's been bright enough in here, it can be pretty creepy. It's like all the eyes and the teeth are just yeah. It's great.
No, it's so cool. And like they look great also. Like it's such a cool like piece to have like on your wall. Like that's awesome. I love that kind of stuff. So this is right up my alley. What are some of the materials you're using besides for like FDM? Like what are some like the more unconventional materials that you're using to build props and whatnot?
For me, I don't really use a whole lot outside of 3D printing, quite honestly.
Oh really?
There's the generic like the cloth stuff, obviously. Um, like Ultron is just the cape. I had to actually make that, stitch that myself. So,
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, no, I haven't really ventured much into it. And like
Uh-huh.
the June, my cosplay or that one, like I said, Caleb kind of got us into the rubber aspect of everything. It's
Yeah.
like that one's got the full rubber undersuit. You're in just a giant rubber suit surrounded in armor. So I kind of got to venture into that because I went out to Ohio with them for like 3 days and
Uh-huh.
spent that time doing the strapping, helping make some of the undersuit for my suit.
How difficult is
That's
that kind of stuff? Like once you start moving out of once you start moving out of the 3D printing stuff, like how much more
it.
difficult does it get?
It gets more difficult, that's for sure. I think the biggest thing is the cost behind it. Like
Uh-huh.
to get casts and mold, like there's an
Right.
extreme cost. The stuff is not cheap at all. Like
Yeah.
the undersuit for June, just the undersuit, just the materials to get there is, I want to say, about $300
Wow.
just in the material. Like that doesn't
Or just the
include all the
material. That's before you any
molds
of the
and
work.
like yeah, exactly. And that was after
Yeah.
it had already been tested by Caleb. Like he had already made two other undersuits at that point in time. So
Wow.
like there was the learning curve. Like you look at his versus ours, and ours came out way better, and he openly acknowledges it because there was extra stuff that he ended up learning in
Yeah.
the process. So
Yeah. Would you say most cosplayers are making their own stuff? Like, is that kind of like the standard, or not necessarily?
not necessarily. I think like most of the people I interact with and go to these conventions with make it, but that's because we're kind of that same labor of love, right? Like
Right.
that's how we met each other is because we were doing the same kind of thing. Um, But like, I have friends that have done costume contests, so you're in the back room talking to everybody and chit chatting, and you run into quite a few people that are just buying it outright. And one of the
Uh-huh.
coolest costumes I ever saw we did was at Dragon Con a few years ago. There was this guy who did Doctor Doom. It was legitimately a full metal suit. Like this thing was a
Wow.
hundred and I think he said 120, 130 pounds. Like
Wow.
all in, like beautiful. Like he paid a premium for it, but
Yeah. So I'm
like
curious, like, and not to be offensive to people who are in the cosplay community, but like, if you're not making it, then what's the like? Not what's the point of it, but like, what's the joy in it if you're not making it? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I totally get it. That's a fine line, right? I mean, like some of those people are just in it for the fame behind it, right?
Uh huh.
Um, I think there is that whole influencer aspect of things. Like there's those people who just want to be professional influencers. They're not
Right.
interested in doing the work behind it. They just want to be recognized for it,
Right.
monetized
It's like
for
a
it.
funny it's
So
a funny niche to like to try to do that in because it's like there are
yeah,
other ways you could do it that like to I don't know like to me it's a little hard to square that circle you know
yeah,
whatever the term
definitely.
is.
I agree. It's a fine line, right? Like I said like earlier in the combo, like you can genuinely tell the people that are different that are there because they genuinely want to be there and they're enjoying it versus the people that are there just to try and turn a buck.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
way you interact with the people around you, how people approach you, and how you react to that. And
Yeah. Yeah. Are there people like I'm just not so familiar with like I've never like been like a big like convention goer, but like would you say that there are people who are like famous so to speak in the cosplay world? Like people like will specifically like if they see them at a convention they'll be like, oh like I need to go get their signature or like their autograph, whatever. Like
yeah,
is that like a big part of it?
I think there is like there's been a few conventions I've been recognized at, and that's like it's weird to me still to this day. Like people. One of the local conventions that we did out here last year, there was a guy who kept messaging me, and he's like, "Yeah, I only came to the convention because I wanted to meet you."
Wow.
It's weird. But like the bigger thing, especially over the past year, what you see is these conventions reaching out to people that are in, like obviously bigger people that like I haven't had it personally happen to me, but
Yeah.
these people that are doing the cosplay and the making, they're becoming such a big influencer that they'll actually reach out and request them come and be guest cosplayers at
Uh-huh.
events.
Well, the
Like,
thing is, if you're making it, it's already a different thing. Like I guess right. I guess, but it makes sense. Like if you have that audience,
mhm.
then like they want you to be associated with their convention because like
Yeah, it's
you
free
you kind of
advertising for them in a
right,
way
right,
too. Yeah.
exactly. And then they throw in some free things like we'll give you free admission and X, Y, and Z and whatever like brand
Hmm.
deals that kind all that kind of that whole
Yeah,
market like that's
you
kind of its own thing.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I dabble in it. I get
Yeah.
stuff here and there, but it's yeah. It's hard.
Have you ever like tried to do like, let's say like a branding with something like, let's say like a Bamboo or one of these like 3D printing companies because like I know that like, Bamboo, I don't know what it is with Bamboo, but they seem to be sponsoring every single person who's like making things online somehow gets a Bamboo sponsorship. That's like that's like seems to be the standard. They throw those things around left and right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's advertising cost. Why make a commercial when we can send you a printer?
Right.
Like my son has a Bamboo printer, and that's like they reached out to me, and I was like, yeah.
What
So
kind
that's
of
how we
like
get the
an
the
A1 or
yeah.
nice. Are they really
like,
as good as everyone says they are?
Yes. Like I mean, I have an older Prusa. I have a Mark. What is it? An MKS 3 Plus. And that used to be like my go-to when I want precision prints. Yeah, Bamboo floored it.
Really?
I don't have the new ones, so I can't speak to like the MK4S and like obviously the XL, which would be a dream printer for me because it's huge, but it's like a $4,000 printer. Like I can't justify spending
There's
that
the
kind
one
of
that
money
just came
on
out
it,
recently that has like the dual nozzle. What do they call that one?
the Bamboo,
yeah,
the H2D. I would love to get my hands on it, but I can't justify spending $2,000 on an over-engineered printer, in my opinion. But
you think so?
It's like there's too many features that they spent money that everybody's paying for as a result. That's kind of my complaint. Like if you think about it from the hobby perspective, right? How many people realistically want the dual nozzle?
Right.
Where's the non-dual nozzle version?
Right.
You lose build space as a result of it. So it's there's all these trade-offs. Like you know the laser engraving. How much went into R&D for that laser engraver that everybody downstream is paying for as a result? Like you could have made a more efficient printer. Like nothing against it, right? You know, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing it. I think it's too much of a reach, and I'm kind of waiting for their P series to come out of it, if you will, because like when Bamboo launched, it was the X series, the X1Cs, and then later on you got the P series, which was kind of like the dumbed down, less tech version of it. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
I can't justify spending $2,000 on a printer when, like, you have the K2 Plus, which, you know, the Creality machine, it's a bigger build volume, it's cheaper, and the kinks seem to be worked out now. Creality is still kind of a very gray area.
Yeah, I heard
I've worked with them several times.
A friend of mine had bought like a bunch of the Creality K1 when they like first came out, and like he said he had so many issues with them. Like he was like, I don't know why I spent the money on this thing. He was really annoyed. But no, with
Reality's an interesting bucket in general. They're very much one of those quick to markets, and then we'll work out the bugs afterwards. And I think that's the difference between like Reality and Bamboo, for example. Like Bamboo vets everything ahead of time, so you're getting a very refined product by the time it hits the ground. The exception to that was the A1 of their power source issue. Again, I don't know how much you were around for that part of it, but they had to recall a bunch of the A1s because there was something about the power. I think it was the power brick or something about the power series that was wrong. But Reality is very much like throw it out there. Everybody will find the issues. They'll work out resolutions for themselves and share it with the masses that will then turn into our own products. Yeah. You know, that's tech marketing nowadays anyways.
Yeah, so. No joke. But with the H2D, that was called, with the Bamboo, one thing that's cool with the dual nozzle that I did see somebody talk about is that you could print with two different materials. Yeah. So you could have like TPU and PLA, let's say, where you could have like some sections like hard and some, you know, like squishy, which is like, it's cool to be able to kind of have that in a print. But again, like, does that justify the price? I don't know if like. If
you use it enough, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's very niche.
Right. Like, how often do you need two materials in one print? You know, like, not that often. You know, so like, it's I don't know. It's a cool piece of technology, but again, for the price point, it's like.
I think the major advantage to it, I think, is it's going to open up another floodgate of people like Creality to kind of step into that same realm, which is going to knock down the tech price and create more of a, you know, more of that tech battle, if you will, I guess.
Yeah. I've been thinking like I really want to get myself a Bamboo. I have a Ender 3 S1 Pro. It was like my first print, and the truth is, like, I don't print all the time. You know, like I print, but not like a tremendous amount. But like for me, I want to switch over to the Bamboo because of the, you know, multicolor prints. Like that alone, I think is like worth it. There's a specific project I have in mind that I really want to start doing, and like the difference between if I have a multicolor printer versus not is, you know, just the amount of time it would the time difference, and scalability is like, so that alone is like a reason why I'm like, maybe I should do that.
The only downside to those multicolors is just the amount of waste you get out of them.
Right. That's the big downside. Yeah, for sure. Although
That's
now
where,
I just saw recently this company that created this like tabletop filament recycler where it's like it looks like a trash bin and then like it has a spool inside it, like it melts and like re-spools it, which is kind of cool. And like it was bound to happen, so it's like it's cool that like someone did kind of like go ahead. And there's some amazing 3D printing technology that's kind of coming out now. Like I've already talked about like a bunch of times, but there were these 2 Kickstarter campaigns I saw. One of them was called Flow-V, it was called. And it was like a 3D printer and an injection molder, like in one.
Oh yeah.
So like you print the mold, and you could like inject like a resin, So that was a really cool one. And then there was another one that was a tabletop SLS printer, and so like it was like basically it was like it was like this tabletop printer, and you buy cartridges of the powder, and so you could like just swap out the cartridges. And then like they put it a Kickstarter. It was like very successful Kickstarter campaign. And then they got picked up by Formlabs. Formlabs bought them and like shut the Kickstarter down. They're like, all right, like, so I imagine we'll see it on the market at some point. It probably ridiculously overpriced, but some of them have told me that Formlabs is like the Apple of 3D printing. That's how they described it.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. Their printers are just crazy expensive.
Crazy, and the resin also, like if you buy like you have to buy their cartridges only.
Yeah.
You can't use like $100 for a cartridge, something like ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But it's also a great product. It's just like it's the trade off. Like
you're paying for their R&D. That's the biggest difference right there. Their markup is their engineering.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, but listen, I guess it's worth it. For some people, other people just can get away with tinkering. Some people don't mind tinkering, others do. That's just the way of the world. Another question with the cosplay stuff. That is like, are there like specific techniques that you do that you think are like significantly different than what other people are doing? Like, do you have like your kind of like secret techniques, or you think it's kind of pretty? Like it's pretty mainstream.
I think it's all pretty much the same. The biggest difference that I think that you see between like finished products is just the people that take the time to do the additional sanding and like the additional prep work. Like, you'll see 3, 4, 5 of the same thing at every convention, but you can tell like the people that take the time and put in the extra effort. Like prep work is key when it comes to 3D printed cosplay.
Yeah,
like the people that are serious about it. Like, do you follow Rogue Gallery Fitness?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a couple based out of Seattle.
Okay.
And his level, or their level, I shouldn't say his. It's usually him on the videos, but it's a husband and wife. They work it together. But the level of detail they go to for sanding and prep work is unmatched. Like, I don't know how they have the patience and the willpower to keep going like they do.
So like what when you say that, like what differentiates like a lot versus a little, let's say?
So they're easily spending probably 10, 12 hours on every single piece that they're doing. And like, so with the Dr. Doom, it's got all the little filigree detail work on it. And we're talking with like pen needle sanders getting in and sanding every little aspect of it. And not just once, they're doing it before they prime it. They're doing it after they prime it. Like, he's really good about posting his videos throughout the process. Like, go to his stories, check them out, or their stories. I keep saying him, but I said it's more often than not it's his voice, but it's the pair of them that do it. Like, just crazy work. But you look at their finished products, and I can comfortably say that there's not very many people out there that come even close to a finished product like they do. Like,
and so like when you look at it, like if you look at it up close, you couldn't tell it's 3D printed just because it's like it's got a perfectly smooth finish. And
yeah, I've never seen their work up close. I wish I could. But like, they're one of those people who will gladly send you close-up pictures, and they'll post close-up pictures, and like,
like with your pieces, if a person comes and looks up close, like could you see the layer lines or not at all?
It depends. Like with Ultron, I kind of was reaching the end of my rope, so there's areas where I wish I would have spent a little bit more time. I try my best to get everything, but like, I'm looking at Ultron right now on the right angle. I can see a couple of corners where you can still see the layers where I should have taken a file and been a little more precise on it. Like I had when the convention I went to in Ohio the end of last year, I had this lady walk up to me and like she was there inspecting 4 issues, which I thought was hilarious. But she was doing
It's
it
like
to
a
every
magnifying glass.
yeah, like every 3D printer. There was like 4 of us in suits in a row, and she would come up. She was heavily inspecting, and she would just ask questions based on it. And one of the other people, she had pointed out layer lines on them before she came to me, and I was like, "Oh, great! This is going to be an interesting interaction." And she looked it over, and she's like, "You know, if it's really, really good work." She's like, "There's some areas I can see, but like compared to most other people," and then was asking about finish. Like, it was a cool interaction, right? It's one of those people who was overly critical, but she was doing it for her own sake, to understand the process. And she was talking about how she was making filaments, like stuff like that makes me nerve wracking. Like one of the guys that I interact with on a regular basis, Furtick, he's a professional car painter. That's what he does for a living.
Oh, cool.
He's an automotive paint and body guy. So like the first time I met him in person, I was like, "Don't look at my suit, man. Just please don't." You know, like I'm overly critical of my own work naturally. Right. That's just the way it is. Like any artist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I definitely wish I would have spent a little bit more time on certain aspects of it, but I think it's part of the learning curve, right? You know,
right, for sure. And it's every time you try and improve,
and burnout.
It's like,
that's the other aspect too.
yeah.
On crunching, burnout, like all that stuff. You know, you've been sanding the same suit for 6 months. You're like, "Oh God, I'm so sick of this."
You can't look at it anymore.
Start cutting corners. You know, like it happens
for sure. Did you ever like want to work in this kind of field, like professionally, like as in not like before you're talking about selling, you know, like the helmets and stuff, like not in that regard, but like working, let's say, like in the film industry, like on like the kind of the costume design, like was that ever of interest to you, or that never really was kind of like even a thought?
Oh, I'd love to. For years, you know, I've talked to my wife about it before, trying to get into our own kind of business with like having a print farm, being able to do casts and molds and stuff like this. It's just making that leap is kind of a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Like there's a few of us guys that have been talking about it for years. Like one day when the timing works out right, like we'd love to open a storefront or a warehouse style. I love
like what would be like the what would you be selling?
I guess it would kind of depend on where we are with things at that point in time, you know? Like personally, like getting into the whole rubber undersuits and stuff, or like Halo Daboy builds, like we've talked about, you know, trying to venture into that, making that, but that's a small niche, you know?
Yeah.
You'd have to kind of be open to a lot of different things. You couldn't really limit it too much to make it effective. But at the same time, you have to be narrow enough. I think finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but even just the capital to even get started on something like that is kind of...
Right. Let's say like the film industry or something like that. It's like not even like the cosplay community, but like something more in the, you know, film and TV kind of like industry. Like, does that speak to you, or you enjoy specifically the cosplay kind of world?
I mean, 100%. Somebody wants to hire me to work on a film? Yeah, absolutely. I actually had a producer stop me at a convention in Ohio and like took down all my information and was like, "I'm gonna be making a film. I might reach out to you." Like,
nice.
Oh yeah, 100%, buddy. Reach out. I'm still waiting for that phone call, but
listen, maybe
I'm kind of giving up hope at this point. But yeah, like,
absolutely.
I'm 100% for it. It's just like, you know, my work. I'm in my 40s. I'm clearly in my career. I make a comfortable living as it is. You know, it's like being able to take and make that jump would be what sacrifices would I have to make along the way.
Right.
You know,
for sure.
We have 5 children too. So got 1 left in the house at this point in time.
Yeah.
So getting closer to being able to make that, you know,
having a little more freedom to take those risks.
It's been an interesting venture, but someday I'm hoping that we can still make it happen.
Yeah, there's this couple based out of Orlando, I think. I'm pretty sure they're in Orlando, definitely in Florida. And their Instagram handle is Chamber of Souls. That's what they call themselves. Mm-hmm. And so it started. I came across their page like on YouTube one time, because like I've always loved like animatronics, like how they're made. And this couple like made a dark ride, like a haunted house dark ride in their backyard. and like they like set up for Halloween, and it's like every Halloween they would like set it up,
Sure. That's
and
cool.
and yeah, like they make like really cool stuff, and it started like just like it's this like kind of like backyard like neighborhood,
Hmm.
kind of like thing, and they like built it into like a whole business where they like sell like animatronics, like parts for animatronics, and like
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah, they had built this like they built I don't know all the specifics of it, but it's like almost like a modular animatronic where it's like you could like kind of mix and match pieces. I think something to that extent. Like it's really
Hmm.
really cool stuff that they're doing, and like yeah, like it's the same kind of story. Like they start like as like a hobby basically, like just doing it for fun, like out of his
Hmm.
garage, and his YouTube channel. Like he originally like, posted all the videos like walking through how he made everything. And
Yeah.
like I was like writing down notes, like I was like watching and like studying everything. And then like once he like launched into a business, he like took all those videos off his YouTube. So now like it's just showing like the things in action, but not like how it was
Yeah.
made. But yeah, no, it's like it definitely is like niche, but like I think there's definitely a market there. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, yeah.
is the you can definitely like you can make a business out of it and like really do well with it. I think like
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
it's
difference too. Is those people that are good at recording and getting their name and footage and stuff out there. I've
yeah.
never been good at that. I'm horrible at stuff
Really?
like
I feel
this.
like
Yeah.
your Instagram presence is pretty solid. Like you got,
Yeah.
you
Well,
kind
thank you.
of yeah, you got
I
you
don't
got a
know.
good
Like,
no, like it's more photography than like videos. But even still, like that's like I think that especially in this kind of in your niche, like that sells it. Like you have like
yeah.
if you have cool photos of yourself in these these things that you built, like that's all you really need. Like that's what sells it ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
It's and like and it's definitely popular.
Mhm.
So it's great work. That's the truth. Like, and
Thank you.
it looks great on camera. Like the pictures you sent me, like they're just like epic looking. Like I don't know
Yeah.
who does your photos, but they
That's
they
suit
know
up
what they're doing.
photography right there. I think he
Oh
took
yeah.
every single one of those. Yeah.
Oh cool. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It looks and like it looks so cool. Like it makes me want to buy them. Like oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one last question, we can wrap things up, and that is,
Shoot.
how do you define success?
Well, in this realm, for me personally,
Yeah.
I think just by the connections, man. I think
Yeah.
that's all it is. Do you have the connections? Are you making the friends? Are you enjoying what you're doing with it? And are you hanging out with people that have that same kind of mindset? Like
Yeah.
that's successful to me.
Nice.
Like beyond that, like I said, I'd like to venture and make money off of this again eventually by expanding it, and that's a whole other success metric right there. But for where I am and what I do, solely
Yeah.
the relationships I've made and kept along the way.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
doing this for 4 years, and there's a handful of guys that I've been talking to since pretty much day one.
Wow.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Consider them my closest friends at this point.
That's amazing. Wow. Where can everybody find you? And you mentioned at the beginning, but just one more time, Instagram and anywhere else.
Instagram, TikTok. TikTok's my bigger following. I do have YouTube, but I only have one video out there. Nothing crazy. So pretty much just Instagram and TikTok are my two biggest platforms.
And it's Third Dimension Builds.
Correct.
Yeah.
Spelled out.
All right.
Third dimension builds.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. It was great to meet
Yeah,
you.
thank you, man. It was great to meet you too.